there's a family feud of sorts going on in the MrBeast extended universe. Obviously, there's like kind of a cast of characters that is recurring on the MrBeast channel. And I didn't know about this one. One of MrBeast's friends, Chandler Hallow is what he goes by online.
Imagine being named after a friend's character.
You don't know that, but
yes,
the timing works.
Yes,
the timing makes sense.
You do.
Chandler started doing daily Bible verse readings and mini Bible studies on his TikTok recently. And people are contrasting him with the antics of now transitioned she/her Ava Chris Tyson, who also is a recurring sidekick on MrBeast's channel. He is being framed as the wholesome one, and Chris Tyson is the problem child. So I saw someone say, Chris from MrBeast abandons his wife and child to pretend he's a woman. Chandler from MrBeast becomes a Christian and does Bible studies on TikTok. Which way, Western man?
See, what I like the idea of is like they're sitting in the MrBeast break room and Chris Tyson is over here doing whatever Tyson does, and he's over here reading the Bible.
Shall we take a look at one of his mini Bible studies?
The one in the Smash?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's go here.
Today's reading is from Matthew chapter 8.
If you could get the flies out of the
He's gonna have to hook up with Alan Richson to do
He
Bible
needs a
reading.
Hallow sponsorship. His last name is literally Hallow.
There we go.
Verse 8 and 9. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire. And if your eyes causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than with 2 eyes to be thrown into the hell of fire. It's a pretty scary verse to some, but don't be scared. So, because God will help you with your temptation. So
It's very wholesome.
For example, like when I was, first getting saved, I was listening to all kinds of music. Like all kinds of music, and God was starting to tell me to just stop listening to all kinds of music.
Wonder if a youth pastor helped him.
For him. And because it was just making me think different things, like, and it wasn't helping me in my walk with Christ. Listening to music that had cursing and just other things, talking about murder or whatever. So it was just messing, like, it was making me think a certain way, the type of music I was listening to.
So he's the TikTok youth pastor,
He is look, it's so weird. I don't know if it's because I work with you, but I end up getting sent a lot of, like, not by people, but like my algorithm, it's like youth pastor humor or like church humor and stuff from people like that are satire and stuff like that.
Church culture.
Yes.
Which usually I can't relate to because it's about mega churches.
Yeah,
but I get it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's playful ribbon.
I do laugh, and I try to always send you, and sometimes I forget, anything that involves church, like religious rap.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I mean, if it's done like earnestly, it's usually bad. If it's satire, I'm willing to watch it. But another person tweeted about this, saying MrBeast has 2 biologically male friends. One abandoned his son and his wife so he could pursue his dream of dressing up like a woman and an anime character. The other decided to read Bible verses daily on TikTok. Guess which one receives more hate? Now, I don't know if Chandler has received any
I'm sure he does.
hate for the fact that he does this on TikTok. I'm sure that he's gotten some negativity. But objectively speaking, it's probably Chris Tyson who gets more hate, given that we have talked about him on multiple occasions. And there's been a huge controversy about him transitioning visibly and talking about it publicly while still being included in MrBeast's content, which is mainly catered to children. That is, I think that Chris Tyson has gotten more hate, but I see one as being a much better role model for MrBeast's fan base than the other.
he needs to maybe work on his delivery a little bit. I think he could. I think he could get a little bit more oomph out of his performance, and he'll reach more people.
He needs to study some Mark Wahlberg videos.
Yep.
Maybe some Jonathan Rumi videos. But otherwise, his heart is in the right place. He has good intentions. And you know, I think that MrBeast is just trying to have his cake and eat it too. Because he's always going to be asked to answer for his friends. And their opinions and their public life and their decisions. And he has chosen to come out swinging for Chris Tyson, defending his friend.
I don't know if making a single tweet about it is coming out swinging.
No, I mean, he has definitely publicly supported the transition, publicly calls Chris Tyson by preferred pronouns and the preferred new name and everything like that. I mean, he could have chosen to stay silent, but his silence would have been interpreted as opposition. Exactly. So he felt like he had to speak out.
It put him into they put him into like the worst possible position they could put somebody who's as broad of a brand as MrBeast is.
But at the same time, if it were all equal, why doesn't he come out and support his other friend when he gets negativity for talking about his Christian faith publicly?
I mean, does that happen? You know? Like, I'd like to, like, if that happens, then yeah.
Bet that 100% Chandler gets negative comments from people about how he's pushing religion down everyone's throats.
But wouldn't be as...
Chris Tyson is also pushing a religion. Yeah. It's just not called a religion.
But but I'm guessing that there's the Chris Tyson story is far more newsworthy.
Of course, yeah. And I think that the criticism was totally fair, considering that this is a channel that is mainly watched by children.
It's also interesting because MrBeast is now getting crap again for building homes in other countries because they don't want him to. They're like, here, help people, but don't help this way. Help this way.
Don't be a white savior. Yeah. They were they were mad at him because he's not providing housing for Americans.
Can you imagine the amount of red tape and bureaucracy if he tried to do that here in America? It would be impossible.
Yeah.
It would be a bunch of government bureaucrats lining their pockets, and it wouldn't work.
He's kind of going to get hate no matter what he does. But I do think that he deserved pushback for the things that he said publicly about Chris Tyson. I do. Because this is just the line that most people, most normies who were previously ignorant to gender ideology, this is the line that they have said, like, no, none of this stuff for kids. Like, we're not accepting any of this for children. And at least most normies can get on board with that idea.
Yeah.
But MrBeast, you know, has to cater to the mob, unfortunately.
Well, when you have, he's like, what? He's now the most subscribed YouTube channel in the world, and that's going to invite a certain amount. There is no way to escape negativity when you're a channel of that size.
Yeah, it's just like business comes first, you know, and you should not make it ideological. But I think that, like, Chris Tyson must have taken, you know, a Bible verse like that and thought, well, my wife and my family are preventing me from expressing myself. So I actually need to cut them off, and I need to do that so I can truly live my best life.
I mean, not even cutting him off because he's still involved in their lives, but that's another discussion, right? Like, that was MrBeast's
It's just
post.
We can't even talk honestly about issues like this. That's the most frustrating thing when these topics come up, is the suppression of what is so obviously true, which is that, you know, his child is the real victim of all of this. Not just, you know, losing your dad essentially, but also being at the center of a discourse amongst millions of people on the internet who, you know, a lot of them have good points, but at the same time, like, you're going to be living with this for the rest of your life and everyone's going to forget.
In the chat, Squib says, MrBeast turned on his faith to appease the mob. I don't know. Was MrBeast ever inherently religious? I've never read that, but that could be true, I guess. But I've never read that.
I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Because like, he's from Texas, right?
Okay.
I think he's talked about, like, growing up kind of in a Christian household.
Okay.
But I don't know a lot about his background. Honestly,
but a lot of people grow up in religious households that become just vaguely agnostic and just don't know what they feel. I mean, that's kind of me, right?
Yeah,
I grew up in not a religious household, but we went to church, and certainly my mom and my dad, my mom went to Catholic school and came from a religious household. And to me, it was never overtly pushed on me. We went to church. I got confirmation and all that stuff, or first communion and stuff like that. But it was never, you kind of have to feel that calling to it. And when you're somebody like MrBeast, people are going to expect you to not just have a calling to it, but to have strong feelings on it. And if he doesn't, then what does he do?
Here's the thing. I don't think MrBeast ever should have catered to this mob in the first place, because I don't think he needs to defend the decisions or the social media posts of any of his friends.
Yes.
Because that's a totally separate person and you're not responsible for them. But because he started that and he set the precedent that he's going to be, fact checking people and debunking all of the rumors in defense of Chris Tyson.
Yeah.
Now I say, make it equal for everybody. Defend your other friend if they're getting backlash, but he's not going to do that.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.